ये आप लोग की क्लासेस में रिकॉर्डिंग का बहुत सारा मसला होता है। शफीक, अपना माइक बंद कर ले। ठीक है। So today's topic is proposal writing, and it is the most important topic for you people, because you will be getting your mini projects or maybe major projects in your final semester, or जैसे final year projects होते हैं, and the mini projects you will be getting it in 7th or maybe 6th semester, right? So for that very purpose, you have to write a proposal in order to convince your supervisor or the professor with whom you are going to conduct the research, who is going to facilitate you in that particular research, right? So you will be responsible to write a proposal. So proposal is basically a request that you ask him or her to allow you, to grant you permission, to fund you, to facilitate you. ठीक है? And that very particular um, investigation. ठीक है? So it that is why I'm saying that proposal writing for you people is very important, because after this you will be going to write proposals. और उससे बगैर मतलब if you have no proposal you won't be able to investigate a problem, or to investigate something that you have, investigate a question. ठीक है? If you are having a question in your mind regarding your subject, or what is going on in mechanical engineering, ठीक है? If there is a problem and you see you have a question for that, and then you have a suggestion or a plan to solve that problem, to investigate that question, then you have to write a particular document for the supervisor. So you see, proposal writing is very important for you people. And so we can define proposal as it is an offer, or it can be a bid to do a certain project for someone. You will always be doing it for someone. I mean, like the audience. Okay? So it asks the audience to approve you, to fund you, to grant you permission, or we can say to do that proposed project. So if you are having a project, you will be needing a permission from the people, from the audience, from the higher authority. और परमिशन इसलिए है uh, in order to provide you with the basic facilities that will be needing in that investigation. I mean, like when you are writing a proposal for your research project, right? So what is the need of writing that proposal is to ask your supervisor to facilitate you, to make you learn about things. Okay? You have a question, but you do not know how to, like, if you, even if you have a plan, but you do not know how to use some instruments. Okay? How to use, how to do a particular lab work, or how to do a particular field work. So the need of proposal writing is to ask people who are have already done some work in that field to fund you, to facilitate you, or to grant you permission. Sometimes the very simple thing is to grant you permission to do that thing, or to investigate that problem, right? So it is basically an offer or bid in case of business proposal. Okay? Or in case of project proposal, it is a plan or suggestion. ठीक है? Especially a formal one, and it is a written one. Especially वो written भी होता है, that is put forward for consideration by the others. So it will always be like you will be putting proposals. Proposal, you know that the very word is basically a request. You make a request for from someone, from the audience, right? So it is always for the consideration of others. You will always be writing the proposals for the people, or for someone to consider it. Okay? To consider your plan, to consider your suggestion, whatever your idea is. Okay? So basically a proposal is that, and request is the very core of writing a proposal. ठीक है. You have a plan, you have a suggestion, you have a question, and you have a solution for that. You have a particular methodology to do it, but then you have to ask, and then you have to get the permission, right? So it's always a request, and you make from the people, ठीक है, in order to approve you in that very idea. Now, sometimes we have solicited proposals, sometimes we have unsolicited proposals. ठीक है. आज थोड़ा सा ज्यादा मैं नहीं लिखना चाहती, बस बताना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि आप लोगों के जहनों में ये बात रह जाए, क्योंकि सम टाइम व्हेन आई राइट आई फील लाइक कि आप स्टूडेंट्स सिर्फ उसको देखते हैं कि चले रिकॉर्डिंग है तो बस हम बाद में देख लेंगे, ठीक है. सो सॉलिसिटेड प्रपोजल्स आर those proposal, if you can write, please do write. Solicited proposals are those proposals where the proposal is asked by the recipient, right? So like, as I said, that there can be business proposal, there can be project proposal, or there can be book proposal as well. Okay, so the business proposals are those proposals which are written in business setup. ठीक है, उनमें academically इतना कुछ नहीं होता. Project proposals are those proposals which are written for a particular field. ठीक है, see, like if you have this empirical sciences which are engineering, and you write a proposal to your supervisor, so that's basically the project proposal. You will be getting GPA on that or getting points on that, so that's the project proposal. Now, business proposals can be all the brochures as well. You might have seen the brochures, या फिर आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि whenever you जैसे आप किसी भी रास्ते पे जाते हैं, and whenever you see people having these brochures or pamphlets और ये सारी चीजें होती हैं उनके पास, sometime it's the advertisement of an academy, या फिर किसी भी एक opportunity का advertisement होगा, और वो फिर आप लोग को वो जो documents है वो दे देते हैं, और उस पे लिखा होता है कि we are having this particular academy and we provide quality education. We have these teachers from Edward College, from Islamia College, and all that, right? So it's basically that request or that brochure is a proposal, but that's not a proposal asked by somebody else. Wait a minute. ठीक है, तो these proposals aren't asked by, and they are basically business proposals, right? So if somebody is interested to take the opportunity and to get admission in the particular academy, ठीक है, तो that's basically a business proposal where people ask or sell their items, their plans, their suggestions, or things like that. So वो business proposal है. The project proposal, that when you ask your supervisor to grant you permission or to approve your plan or to approve your idea that you want to investigate a particular problem in mechanical engineering, ठीक है, तो फिर जब वो आपको परमिशन देते हैं and they provide you with the basic facilities, the lab works or sometime the education about that particular topic, ठीक है, तो वो फिर project proposal है. At the very core of project proposal, we have always investigations, ठीक है, we always have experiments, we always have test field work or things like that, तो हम उसको फिर project proposal बोलते हैं, ठीक है. So project proposal or business proposal की मैंने बात की, then I said that some are solicited and some are unsolicited proposals. Solicited proposals can be those proposals which are asked by the recipient. For example, if you are going to submit a proposal to me, right? So and if I ask you to write a proposal on this particular idea, right? So you will come up with your own proposal and all of them. So these are a very general idea. Sometimes it's a very general idea and people ask you, और वो बड़े level पे होते हैं, ठीक है. So all of them, so there is a greater competition. All of you will come up with your own proposal. So if I see जिसका जितना अच्छा प्रपोजल होगा आई विल एक्सेप्ट दैट वन. तो सॉलिसिटेड प्रपोजल्स आर मेनली जैसे गवर्नमेंट के कंपनीज है, जैसे बाकी बहुत मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज है, या जो आप कहते हैं कि जितना लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स के प्रोजेक्ट्स है या जितने भी गवर्नमेंट्स के प्रोजेक्ट्स है, सो यू सी जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स होते हैं हमारे, जैसे सड़क बन रही है, कोई बीआरटी है, ठीक है, ऑल दीज थिंग्स, और कोई मशीनरी है. सो व्हाट दे डू इज दे आस्क यू, और वो फिर टेंडर शो करते हैं किसी भी न्यूज़पेपर पे, न्यूज़ चैनल्स में, और इस तरह के मीडियम पे, ठीक है. So what they do is they ask you for a proposal, and that proposal is بس شو خلاني انت كده وين بس العشاء. Right? So I'm sorry for the disturbance. Um, so I was talking about solicited proposals. These proposals where the request is these are asked by the recipient. Okay. So like if there is a particular project, जैसे हमारे अगर कोई सड़क बन रही है, so they will announce this thing कि ये टेंडर है और यहाँ पे ये सड़क बननी चाहिए, और they will ask the contractors कि come up with your own proposals. तो जिन contractors का ज्यादा अच्छा proposal होगा, they will accept it. So it's an example of solicited proposal कि it is asked by, it is shown in a particular newspaper or चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स चैनल, या फिर इंडिविजुअल लेटर्स के थ्रू, या फिर न्यूज के थ्रू, या किसी ट्रेड जर्नल के थ्रू, they will request for this particular proposal. So people come up with but their proposals. So when your proposals will like if you are having a well written proposal, your proposal will stand out and it will be accepted. Okay, so there is a greater competition in solicited proposals. अब इसमें एक और बात है, 1 year back or maybe 2 years back there was a project. It was Durshal, and Durshal is basically a Pashto word which means a gateway. Okay, so it was just like I feel it was like Darevlo, or it was like this Kareem system, kuch is tarah tha. But for that very purpose, they asked the students or groups from other universities, or it was a general request from all the audience कि आप लोग अपने proposal लिखें, तो जिनका proposal सबसे अच्छा होगा, they will be accepted and they will be given the particular project. ठीक है. तो what I mean to say इस example का ये मतलब था, to make a point over here, is that when in the solicited proposal they request you or they ask you for writing the proposal, it's basically there is a particular format that they will provide to you, or there is a particular way, or what contents should be included in that, or what format should be followed, or sometime the word count is given to you कि इतने words में आपने ये सारी बात करनी है. So that's there is a greater competition in solicited proposal. अब उस दर्शन में पता नहीं यूईटी का कौन सा पोजीशन था, बट आई रिमेम्बर स्टूडेंट्स वर राइटिंग प्रपोजल्स, और वो फिर सब लेकर रहे थे, सब अपने अपने ग्रुप्स उन्होंने बनाया हुआ था और दुर्शल के लिए सब लेकर रहे थे. मुझे यूईटी का अंदाजा नहीं है उनका कैसा आया हुआ था, बट it was like I would say it was an example of solicited proposal where the like people ask. अब एक और चीज है, when there is like when there is a need of a particular society in the university, ठीक है, so the teachers or sometime the official page of the university will ask the students to come up with a particular um, proposal for making that society. ठीक है, या जब अगर वो पूछेंगे, so that's solicited proposal. If they do not ask you, then it is unsolicited proposal. ठीक है, then you come up with a particular idea that you want to make in a society, a Pashto society, art society, yeah, dancing society, or any society that you want to make in the university. Okay, so you come up with a request or plan or suggestions that we are having these people and we want to make this society, we want to improve Pashto, we want to make the people learn Pashto, make the people learn Urdu, or make them learn English or things like that. Okay, it can be all about the language, it can be all about the arts, it can be engineering related to things that you are interested in. Okay, so when you come up with your own plan or suggestion and you request the higher authority that you want to make a society, that can be an unsolicited proposal. But if the university asks you that you like all the students or for all the audience of the university to write or come up with a proposal where there is a need of making a society, okay, suggest a name of the society and then write a proposal for that, ठीक है, तो फिर जिनका जितना अच्छा और फेवरेबल और वेल रिटन प्रपोजल होगा उतने ही उनके चांसेस ज्यादा है to be selected or to be given a permission or to be granted a permission. ठीक है, so these are the solicited or unsolicited proposal. I hope it is clear कि solicited क्या है, unsolicited क्या है. क्या है, आपको समझ आई?
Yes, ma'am.
वैसे तो बहुत मशरूट बनते हैं लेकिन क्लास में फिर आपकी आवाज नहीं निकलती. ठीक है, तो these are like basically this was all about the discussion के हमारे पास proposal क्या है. So proposal is an offer or plan, or it can be a suggestion that you provide to the people that you have a question. When we talk about project proposal, as I discussed with you, there are business or book proposals as well. A book proposal kya hai? It's always when you write a book, when you write a magazine or anything that you write and you want to publish it for a particular audience. Say when you write a book for engineering students, so you will be asking the publishing company to publish it for you, and you have a particular audience for it. Can be medical students, engineering students, English students, back study, and so many other fields, right? So until and unless you publish your book, वो नहीं आएगा market में. ठीक है, so for that very purpose you write a proposal to the publishing company that you have this book and these are the summaries of the chapters and the audience is this particular strata of the society. I mean like the medical students or the engineering students or maybe other students. ठीक है, so when they see that you have a book and it is having a market value, तो वो फिर publish करते हैं, उनको भी फायदा होता है और आपको भी फायदा होता है, right? So that's a book proposal. Business proposal की मैंने आप लोग के साथ बात की है कि it can be the very simple, जैसे pamphlets है, जैसे brochures होते हैं, जैसे हमारे पास academies के advertisement है. So these are the we can say the business proposals. Yeah, if you want to make a society in your organization, that can be a example of business proposal. So for writing a business proposal, there is not particular format that you have to follow, but there are some parts that you need to learn. That there are some we can say elements that you need to learn, that how to write a proposal. I'm going to discuss it with you. ठीक है, uh, yeah, say ठीक है. Am I sharing this whiteboard with you? कोई आवाज तो दे मुझे. मैं किसको बोल रही हूँ, सारे गूंगे हो गए हैं क्या?
Listening
इसमें
to
आ
you.
रही है।
Am I sharing this? ठीक है. So I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
discussing proposal writing. ठीक है, इसमें मैंने आपको कहा कि book proposal, business proposals, and we have project proposal. तो business proposal के लिए what you need to do is that for business proposal you need to have an introduction of the particular idea or the plan that you have. Then you must have introduction may sometime we include the background in the introduction. If there is, you just introduce it, I mean like you define or you explain the particular plan, तो उसके बाद you make a background for your particular idea कि आप क्या करना चाहते हैं, why do you want to make it, ठीक है. So you make a background for it. Then it can be the body, ठीक है. Body में फिर आप क्या बोलते हैं कि what is your plan, ठीक है. The particular plan that you want. Sometime you can also go for the procedure. Procedure, if it is a particular way of doing something, so you will go for the procedure कि आपने किस procedure के through इस society को बनाना है, इस procedure के through you want to make an academy or things like that, ठीक है. तो and then you have conclusion. So there are simple we can say parts of the business proposal that you can include. अब इसके अलावा एक और चीज है. When you are having a business proposal, but it is very much related to like if you want to sell your products or sell an item or an idea or a plan or a suggestion, ठीक है. So उसके लिए फिर आपका थोड़ा सा हाई लेवल बन जाता है बिजनेस प्रपोजल का. तो फिर there are some contents that you need to, there are some parts that you need to learn, and these parts are like there should be a title, ठीक है. अब title means कि what is the name of your project. Then there would be table of contents. Table of contents means that what are the contents that you are including in this particular we can say document that you are making for the proposal. Then executive summary. इस summary का मतलब ये है कि if people having no time to read all the document or your proposal, so they will go for just reading the executive summary. आप इसको फिर कह सकते हैं कि इसका abstract भी इसको हम बोल सकते हैं, this executive summary. And the problem statement, कि what is the problem. Statement of the problem का मतलब ये है कि what is the problem. Basically problem is not always a problem, right, but if you are having a question that's a problem, ठीक है. So the problem statement, that what is that thing actually, ठीक है. Then the proposed solution, ठीक है. And then the qualification. Qualification इसलिए देते हैं कि there are sometime this is not necessary, but we can say कि ये this can be optional part. Qualification इसलिए हम देते हैं, qualifications are basically related to your qualification. It's like you, who you are, why you are writing this particular project, ठीक है. So qualification is provided in that case when it is an external proposal. When you write it for somebody else or some other organization, then you have to provide or introduce yourself कि आपकी qualification क्या है, what is your education, what is your experience. तो फिर आप उसके साथ cover letter attach करते हैं. So that's qualification basically, ठीक है. Then after that we have the timeline. The timeline is the tentative framework that you will be investigating this problem, you will be solving this problem. So the timeline इसको बोलते हैं कि कितने टाइम में आप ये काम करेंगे. जितना कम टाइम होगा, जितना अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट होगा, इतने ही आप you will be able to make it stand out, ठीक है. अब now you will have pricing, billing and legal. ये legal का भी बात होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. Terms and conditions and acceptance. Terms and conditions भी आप कह सकते हैं, ठीक है. So these are the parts that we can write for जैसे हम प्रोजेक्ट्स को, हम किसी भी बिजनेस, कोई भी एक, when we write a proposal for that, so we will have these parts. It is not necessary that you will have always these parts. ठीक है, sometimes you can like just state the problem, and you state the proposed solution, and you go for the conclusion. ठीक है, उसमें टाइम लाइन की जरूरत नहीं होती, क्वालिफिकेशन की जरूरत नहीं होती, प्राइसिंग और बिलिंग और ये टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन की भी जरूरत नहीं होती. अब ये टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन इज समटाइम इट्स एन ऑप्शनल वन. जैसे आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, कभी भी आप मोबाइल फोन में कोई भी काम करते तो आप कहते हैं टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन एट, आर यू लाइक एग्री और डिसएग्री. फिर जब आप एग्री पे टिक करते हैं तो फिर वो सारा प्रोसेस आगे चला जाता है. सो दीज आर द टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन फॉर, we can say a thing or a sale item or a project or a plan. ठीक है, so it's not necessary that you will have all these contents, but you can go for the problem statement directly, which is like you can do it in the introduction and then the proposed solution and then the conclusion. ठीक है, तो आप इस तरह कर सकते हैं. If you want to make a society, then you can go for the introduction, the background of the society, and then the conclusion, or either you can go for the procedure or not. It's up to you. Introduction में आप क्या करेंगे? For example, if you want to make a society, a Pashto society, so you will be introducing why you are making a why Pashto society, or what is Pashto. I mean like that. So you will be introducing this or making a background के उसका background कैसे बनाएंगे कि why not some other society, why this society. ठीक है, फिर उसका body means के इस पश्तो सोसाइटी में क्या क्या होगा, और प्रोसीजर दैट हाउ विल यू मेक दिस, एंड देन द कंक्लूजन कि आप, it's basically the restatement of the statement that you make in the introduction. Conclusion में ये होगा. ठीक है, there is a need of so we have this suggestion or we have this plan to make this society. ठीक है, so this is business proposal. Now coming to the project proposal. Project proposal is a bit formal one. Ab, there are business proposals are always formal, but it can be, you can see that there is only introduction, can be the body or can be conclusion, depending on the situation, depending on the idea, depending on the term that you are explaining. ठीक है, but when we talk about the project proposal, they are mainly written, they are we can say formal, and they are having some parts that you need to include. ठीक है, and these parts of the project proposals are, I want to share another tab with you. जैसे ये लेक्चर स्लाइड मैंने आप लोग के साथ शेयर किया हुआ था. क्या ऑप्शंस है? Am I sharing the page with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Engineering research project or proposal. ठीक है, so I was discussing business proposal. Now I said that what is a project proposal. So project proposal में the main topics और जो main elements है, जो parts है, वो कौन कौन से है? It is like the structure of the research proposal: the title page, the introduction, research questions, literature review, research design, or we can call it methodology, research timeline. टाइमलाइन का मतलब ये है कि टेंटेटिव फ्रेमवर्क इसका क्या है, कितने टाइम में क्या करेंगे. आई मीन लाइक when you are having a lab work, so you will mention that you will be completing this lab work in this much time, right? So you are mentioning the time period as well, that you will be conducting this research in this much time. ठीक है, और ये time mention करना is like it's sometime required and sometime not. तो कहते हैं इफ रिक्वायर्ड, जो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है इफ रिक्वायर्ड का मतलब ये है कि इफ इट इज रिक्वायर्ड और इट इज आस्क्ड बाय द सुपरवाइजर, सो यू कैन गो फॉर द टेंटेटिव फ्रेमवर्क, और इफ इट इज नॉट आस्क्ड बाय देम, so you need not to include the tentative framework or the timeline for the research. Then the references or appendices, ठीक है, so these are the parts that you have to include. um, the title page, introduction, research questions and all of them. यहाँ पे कहते हैं what is a research proposal, a plan or outline of your proposed research project, ठीक है, and what is its purpose, to demonstrate that you have identified a suitable question problem to investigate. For every proposal you must have a question in your mind and you must have a problem. If you do not have a question, so you won't be able to write a proposal. जैसे आप कहते हैं ना कि if like you are explaining an idea and if there is like somebody has applied in न्यूटन लॉ या फिर पैराडाइज लॉ या फिर जितने भी लॉज है आपके इंजीनियरिंग में, ठीक है, वो किसी भी चीज पे अप्लाई किया हुआ है एंड द एंड रिजल्ट इज, आप कहते हैं कि इसका रिजल्ट, if we apply another theory and that we get the same result, ठीक है, so if you have this question, this suitable question, so this is particularly a problem that is there in your mind, then you say ke, like to demonstrate that you have identified an appropriate approach to investigate the question, then for that question or that problem you have an approach, you have a way, you have a method or to investigate that, you have a method to carry out a particular research on it कि आपने like if, as I said कि if you are like a law is applied or theory is applied on something, or if there are, we can also say कि if there are two chemicals, right, and you combine it और फिर आप कहते कि इसका end result ये आता है, ठीक है, and if you say that these are in these proportions, इतने proportions में इतना chemicals आपने add किए हुए and you get this particular result, and you say कि अगर हम इसका इतना proportion कर ले तो हमारे पास ये result आता है, so that's basically a question that you have in your mind, लेकिन आपने अभी तक किया नहीं है, then you see कि you have an appropriate approach for mixing those proportions or things like that. Now this is just an example for you people, I do not know, there may be so many problems in engineering and you must have so many questions in your mind, ठीक है, तो what you do is that you suggest it, but for that purpose you have to ask your supervisor or the professor who is supervising you to permit you to do it or to facilitate you to do it, to fund you to do it or to research it, ठीक है, so the purpose of every proposal is that you must have a question in your mind and you must have an approach for solving the question, for solving that problem, ठीक है, जब आपके पास question हो उसके लिए approach हो, then you can go for the proposal. अगर आपके पास ये नहीं है, you will be beating about the bushes and you won't know that how to do something. अब जितने भी many projects या फिर हमारे students को दिए जाते हैं, why they take time, because they do not know how to create a question and then how to make an approach for solving that question, ठीक है, तो questions create करना भी, it's all about reading. When you read things you will see that you will have so many questions in your mind and you will be investigating those questions, ठीक है, so अगर invention नहीं है but at least you can reach to the discovery level, आप discover तो कर सकते हैं ना कि ये चीज मेरे जहन में नहीं था, for the first time you discover it. Invention तो बहुत कम है हमारे मुल्कों में, लेकिन at least you can go for the discovery. So it's like the point to make here was that if like bringing a question in your mind, you must be a reader. Or then if you are having a question in your mind and you do not have a plan, you are not a good reader at all, ठीक है, जब आप read करते हैं, आप analyze करते हैं and then you observe things, you will see that you will have so many questions in your mind, and question is not a bad thing, being inquisitive is not a bad thing, लेकिन जो देर तक पूछना का लगा दा मौजम आगा भी देर मुश्किल है, it's so bad. Why do you laugh? So
I hate
structure,
you.
structure of the research proposal, as I said, that there is a title page. So the first thing that you do is that you make a title for the question. क्या क्वेश्चन है, उसका क्या मसला क्या है, राइट. सो दिस इज अ सेपरेट पेज विद द टाइटल. जैसे आप लोग असाइनमेंट पे टाइटल पेज अलग बना लेते हैं, ठीक है. द सेम इज द केस विद द प्रपोजल. यू मेक अ टाइटल पेज, उस पे टाइटल ऑफ द रिपोर्ट लिखते हैं, जैसे आप टॉपिक ऑफ द असाइनमेंट लिखते हैं. द सेम इज द केस विद द प्रपोजल, दैट यू राइट अ टॉपिक of that particular problem or question that you have. Then you write your name, your IDs, and other identifying details as it is requested by the university. ठीक है, depend करता है. Now the introduction, it's like one thing I would suggest when we make a title. Okay, title is um, जब आप टॉपिक लिखते हैं तो आप टॉपिक कैसे लिखते हैं, आप मुझे जरा बताएं.
What do you
आप
mean?
याद आई एम सॉरी आप लोग को वो याद है, शायद when I was discussing business letters, I said that how to write topic for something. If you are a topic, or या फिर क्या कहते हैं उसको, subject line कैसे लिखते हैं, like you capitalize the first letter of the uh, open class words and keep the close class words in lower cases. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा था कि applying, sorry, applying for the post of assistant engineer. Okay, so if this is the title, it is the subject line for your letter. So ये मैंने कैसे लिखा हुआ है, it is a phrase. If it is a phrase, so how will you write it is that you need to capitalize the first letter of the open class words, and you have to keep the we can say the close class words in lower cases. ठीक है. अब ये post क्या है, even it is in the middle of the phrase, लेकिन आप, और ये assistant क्या है, engineer क्या है, even it is at the end of that sentence. So these are in the middle of the phrase, but still you just capitalize the P and A. These are like open class words. So open class words are the nouns and the verbs and adverbs, and they are the adjectives. ठीक है. So these are the open class words where like while writing the subject line, while writing the topic, while writing the title or the heading of something, or any particular we can say piece of writing, so you have to capitalize the first letter of the we can say open class words, and you have to keep the close class words in lower cases. जैसे for है, da है, ठीक है. So for is a preposition, da is an article, right? Again it is a preposition. So these are basically the close class words, as I discussed with you that close class words इसलिए इसको बोलते हैं because there is no option for adding something else to it. ठीक है. लेकिन आप इसके साथ इंजीनियर के साथ आईएनजी लगा के इंजीनियरिंग बना सकते हैं. ठीक है. और इस तरह असिस्टेंट के साथ एस लगा के असिस्टेंट्स लगा सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो यू मेक इट प्लूरल और सिंगुलर, or you can make it noun, or you can make an adjective from noun, or you can make an adverb from a particular adjective. So when you change the grammatical category of particular word, it is basically an open class word. So jitne bhi open class words hai, and now this is apply, it is a noun, it is a verb. By adding ing we make it present participle. ठीक है. तो we make it an activity. ठीक है. So uh, you see, like when we can add suffixes or prefixes or bound morphemes to word classes, they are open class words and close class. अब ये एक बात तो ये हो गया. अब title of any project proposal should be very attractive. और कैसे attractive हो सकता है? I want to give an example of my own topic. मैंने क्या लिखा हुआ था? It was um, my topic was representation of women in Pakistani print media. sorry, a discourse analysis. Okay, so it is basically I'm giving a theory. Okay, it's a discourse analysis. I'll be applying the theories of discourse analysis to represent that how women are represented in Pakistani print media. So you see, if you are having a very लॉन्ग सेंटेंस, अब इसको मैं ऐसे भी कह सकती हूँ कि a discourse analysis of the representation of women in Pakistani print media by putting the colon within these things I can make it more persuasive. ठीक है, एंड इट इज मोर अट्रैक्टिव. सो अगर हाइफन आप लगा सकते तो लगा ले. ठीक है, अगर अगर मैं ये इस तरह लिख लेती है डिस्कोर्स एनालिसिस ऑफ द रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वुमेन इन पाकिस्तानी प्रिंट मीडिया, तो वो थोड़ा बोरिंग लगता. अब रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वुमेन इन पाकिस्तानी प्रिंट मीडिया अ डिस्कोर्स एनालिसिस, इट इज मोर अट्रैक्टिव एंड इट इज we can say that it brings curiosity in the reader's mind ke yeah, this is the thing, but there is a law which is applied. अब इसको मैं ऐसे भी कह सकती हूँ कि representation of women in Pakistani print media, an application of this particular theory and discourse analysis. ठीक है, then I'll be particularly talking about the theory which is there in the discourse analysis. Now, if you are having any topic or any title for the research proposal, you have to make the reader insight. ठीक है, you have to give an insight to the reader that what you are going to do in your project. So you must clarify one thing, okay? You are having a topic and you will be applying this particular law, this theory, this method, or this, like it should give the reader that आप उस प्रॉब्लम को इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं, बट बाय विच वे. there must be a clue of methodology, there must be a clue of the law and the theory. जो भी law है, जो भी theory है, that you will say. अगर आप कहते हैं कि I do not know much about mechanical engineering, लेकिन चलो एक केमिकल्स की बात करते हैं. ऐसा लाइक गिव यू द एग्जांपल ऑफ के जितने भी अगर केमिकल्स है, हम कहते हैं कि इसको इतने प्रोपोर्शंस में हम अगर मिक्स कर ले, सो वी विल हैव दिस पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट. तो वो जो रिजल्ट है, आप उसको अपने तरीके से, यू वोंट से समथिंग, यू विल से दैट दिस लॉ सेज कि अब अगर हमारे पास इतने प्रोपोर्शंस में इतना आ जाता है, सो वी विल हैव दिस पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट. सो यू विल ऑलवेज हैव अ बैकग्राउंड फॉर इट, यू विल ऑलवेज हैव अ बैकअप. जैसे आप ये नहीं कहते कि इसके लिए एक लीगल आपके पास एक दलील है कि हाँ आई हैव पुट इस दिस और मिक्स दिस इन दीज प्रोपोर्शंस, लेकिन उसके लिए एक लॉ है दैट सेज कि अगर आप इतने प्रोपोर्शंस कर ले तो यू विल गेट दिस रिजल्ट. ठीक है, सो आई गॉट दीज रिजल्ट्स बाय अप्लाइंग दिस पर्टिकुलर थियरी और लॉ और पास्टुलेट्स या जितने भी आपके इंजीनियरिंग से रिलेटेड थीरीज है. ठीक है, सो now if I want to write a problem in mechanical engineering, so इस तरह मैं कह सकती हूँ कि an an investigation of a problem, एक प्रॉब्लम है इंजीनियरिंग में. ठीक है, अब प्रॉब्लम मुझे नहीं पता कौन सा प्रॉब्लम है, इट कैन बी एनी प्रॉब्लम इन इंजीनियरिंग. ठीक है, डू नॉट राइट अ प्रॉब्लम बट यू शुड नेम इट. जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वुमेन, आप ऐसे कह सकते हैं an application an application of Newton Newton's law. ठीक है, सो यू सी यू पुट अ हाइफन, और आप ऐसे भी कह सकते हैं applying Newton's law to investigate a problem. It can be related to any problem in engineering. ठीक है, तो जो भी आपका टॉपिक है, वट एवर द टॉपिक इज, ठीक है, सो आपने इस तरह लिखना होगा. अगर आप इस तरह नहीं लिख सकते तो एटलीस्ट यू कैन से दैट एन एप्लीकेशन ऑफ न्यूटन लॉज in investigating this problem, or by writing that very particular problem. Okay, that very problem. So the topic should be attractive, and it should give an insight to the reader that what is the particular theory that you are applying, what would be the methodology. Why? Because it brings an element of curiosity in the reader minds ke, yes, this is the problem, and how is or he or she going to apply this particular law by solving this problem. Okay, so you see, the topic, the very topic should attract the people, should give an insight to the reader, should bring curiosity in the reader's mind कि आप लिख क्या रहे हैं, आप क्या अप्लाई कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, so this is the methodology for writing the title. Now ये आप लोग को जो मैं पेजेस चेंज कर रही हूँ, आप लोग को ये नजर आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि मैंने स्क्रीन सारा शेयर किया हुआ था. क्या नजर आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम, नज़र आ रहा है।
जी ठीक है. सो ये जो नाउ टाइटल तो मैंने आप लोग को कह दिया कि कैसे करेंगे. इंट्रोडक्शन में कहते हैं दिस सेक्शन प्रोवाइड कॉन्टेक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन टू सेट द सीन फॉर योर रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट. पहले तो आपने ये कहना है कि जैसे जैसे एज आई सेड, set the scene for your research project. You will also discuss why this research is needed and the broad aims and objectives. Okay, this is very necessary. Why should people accept you? Why should people fund you? Why there is a need? Like, you should put yourself into the reader's mind, you should put yourself into their skin. ठीक है, कि और into their, you should stand in their shoes के वो क्या चाह रहे हैं आपसे, what are their desires. अगर उनको कोई फायदा नहीं है उस चीज से, so how they are going to fund you, how they are going to accept you. So the introduction में as I said in the business proposal के introduction में हम background बनाते हैं. So this is basically contextualizing the thing कि आपने उसको context बनाना है. When I was writing my proposal, representation of women in Pakistani print media, I talked about representation of women कि इसका क्या मतलब है. And then I discussed the discourse analysis. So basically in the introduction you introduce the statement that you make. ठीक है, you introduce the topic that you make for yourself, or you write for yourself, क्योंकि representation of women क्या है. So for every person, like introduction is basically you make a context or background to the people. Agar if you they do not know even about the topic, so they will understand it. So for every field, अगर आप engineering के field से भी कर रहे हैं, so if you write your introduction is a well written one, even I can understand that कि आप क्या बोल रहे हैं. लेकिन अगर आपका well written नहीं है, it is like you are beating about the bushes, और आपका कोई भी मैनेजमेंट नहीं है, आपका illogical arrangement है, आपका मतलब अरेंजमेंट आपका ठीक नहीं है while writing or contextualizing or making a background to the topic, then I won't understand it. So basically, introducing your topic is to make it clear to even the people who belong to other fields. ठीक है, so then in the introduction I discuss the representation of women broadly hai kya. Then I narrow down it to like जैसे मास जैसे मीडिया की मैंने बात की, सो मीडिया में प्रिंट मीडिया भी है, जैसे न्यूज़पेपर्स हैं, न्यूज़ चैनल्स है, या फिर एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स है, या फिर जितने भी ड्रामास है, दीज आर बेसिकली द मीडिया. ठीक है, जितने भी मीडियम है उसमें किस तरह रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. देन आई नैरो डाउन इट टू द प्रिंट मीडिया. ठीक है, so what you do in the introduction is that you introduce a broader thing, and then you narrow down it to the topic that you want to investigate, and then I made some questions that why I want to investigate this problem. So again, if you have this engineering कोई प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, साइबर कोडिंग है, या फिर जैसे डोर सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम का मैंने आप लोग को दिया था शायद, अगर कोई इस तरह कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो अगर साइबर कोडिंग है या फिर इस तरह क्राइम्स है, आप इसकी बात कर रहे हैं, so what you do is that you need to introduce it, and then you should narrow down it to the topic that you want to investigate. अगर कोई साइबर कोडिंग है तो उसमें फिर what is your topic that you want to investigate. ठीक है, तो इंट्रोडक्शन में we इंट्रोडक्शन में ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर आ जाते हैं. लेट मी राइट फॉर यू. ड्रा ऐसे यू सी इंट्रोडक्शन आप ऐसे शुरू करते हैं, नैरोइंग डाउन इट टू योर ओन टॉपिक. ठीक है, आप यहां से शुरू करते हैं एंड यू ट्राइंग टू make a background to the people and then you narrow down to the topic that you want to investigate. So at the end of your introduction you can go for the questions, research questions. It depends on you if you are writing the research questions at the end while making a continuous flow. ठीक है, कि आप बात कर रहे हैं रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वुमेन की या एक प्रॉब्लम है जो इंजीनियरिंग में है. यू try to talk about the problem in a broader sense and then you narrow down to the very specific problem aspect of the problem that you want to investigate and then you make questions for them कि आपने उसके बारे में what are your questions that are there in your mind about that topic. So you can write the research questions at the end of your introduction or you can make another topic for it or another heading for it, research questions. ठीक है, तो दिस इज द मेथड ऑफ राइटिंग द इंट्रोडक्शन. अब एक और चीज है, जैसे मैंने आपको कहा ना, contextual information to set the scene for your research project. Then the research questions state very clearly and concisely your research questions. मैंने किस तरह questions बनाए थे, like उसमें मैंने ऐसे questions बनाए थे कि how women are represented in Pakistani print media and what are the strategies that editors apply to represent them, or what are the forces that reinforce these images of women. ठीक है, so you have to set very clearly your questions. ठीक है, अब आपका सिर्फ एक ही चीज है कि उसमें एक वायलेंस है, उसका रिप्रेजेंटेशन ठीक नहीं है, बट यू हैव टू मेक सम क्वेश्चन. अब मुझे इंजीनियरिंग का इसलिए नहीं पता that you have to after this class I'll be giving you an assignment, और assignment क्या है कि you have to search for the problems of in engineering. Try to make a question for yourself and try to make or to write a proposal for yourself. I'll be giving you an assignment और सारे sections को ये assignment मिलने वाला है क्योंकि ये बहुत important है आप लोग. अब अभी से अगर आप लोग ये कर सकते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. It will help you a lot in the coming years. ठीक है, then research questions, फिर literature review है. Literature reviews are basically it's a review or just looking back to some works, ठीक है, previous works. So literature review is to include a detailed note about the previous works done on that particular topic that you are investigating. तो आप कहते हैं कि इस बंदे ने भी ये काम इस टॉपिक पे इस टाइम में किया था, इसने ये कहा, उसके पास ये रिजल्ट्स आए. बट एट द एंड हर एक बंदे का जितना भी आपके कोर्स से रिलेटेड है, एक लिटरेचर रिव्यू में एक और काम है. समटाइम द सुपरवाइजर आस्क्स यू टू इंक्लूड ओनली पाकिस्तानी राइटर्स, समटाइम द सुपरवाइजर आस्क्स यू टू इंक्लूड ओनली द पीपल हु आर अब्रॉड. ठीक है, या फिर इंटरनेशनल जर्नल्स को सिर्फ ऐड करें. ठीक है, या फिर नेशनल जर्नल्स को या फिर बुक्स को और सारी चीजों को ऐड कर ले. So it's very clear. If it is a broader one, so you can go for the international, national, local और बहुत ऐसी सारे रिसर्च किए होंगे लोगों ने about your topic. कोई भी ऐसा टॉपिक नहीं है. When you choose a topic, you will see that there would be much research done on that topic. ऐसा कोई टॉपिक नहीं है. अच्छा, one thing I would say कि if there is a topic which is not done already, do not go for that. अगर if you do not have a particular procedure or approach for that, do not go for that, because then it becomes very we can say difficult for the people to investigate it. अगर उस पे कोई पेपर नहीं है, you won't be able to get an idea and it will take much time from you. पाकिस्तान में वैसे भी प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो बहुत टाइम लेते हैं और लोग बैठे होते हैं डिग्रीज लेने के लिए. ठीक है, so वो लिटरेचर रिव्यू जो है it is basically the previous works that are done on the topic which you are investigating, तो फिर आप वो सारे जितने भी वर्क्स है उन लोगों के you will include them in your research that they have done these works in these perspective. But my perspective is a bit different. So at the end of the literature review, you will say, you will draw we can say a comparison between your research and other researches. Okay, they have investigated this problem by having applying this law or having this perspective. My perspective is a bit different. I'm applying this law, or I have a different lab work, or I have different test, or I have different approach to that. Okay, so it can make a comparison between like you have to make a comparison at the end of literature review. इसमें कहते हैं, this is a more detailed presentation of information related to your proposed research. You will draw on literature related to your topic, including journal articles, reports, and other scholarly sources. You can take the help from journals, articles, reports, books, magazines, newspapers, even the Wikipedia or जितने भी Google के sites है. You can also take the help from them. अगर आपको लगता है कि that topic is related to yours one, तो आप literature review में you can include that. Now, the research timeline is basically, if it is required, sometimes the supervisor asks you कितना time में आप ये सारा complete करेंगे. So then you have to give the timeline or the framework that you are going to complete your project in this much time. और जितना कम time में आप complete कर सकते हैं उतना ही supervisor को आप जल्दी convince कर सकते हैं. Because people do not have that much time to listen to all the time your stories and all the time fund you and allow you to do things. ठीक है? Uh, I'm sorry, I have a call. Attend कर लूं?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
वालेकुम सलाम. सही है पा. Hi माँ. पता नहीं شتى أخو جول مالا أس خاصة زبدي تبوسو كمان ما تقول زم كل ما يجي ده سوية. أزتك شو بسوي. آوا أو زما class ده पा. ठीक है. So I was discussing literature review. ठीक है. Now research design is basically the methodology or the procedure or the way you are going to do your research, right? Procedure तो जरूरी है कि you have to include all the relevant materials के what are the materials you will be using, what are the instruments you will be using, what is the lab work, or whether you are going to collect the data through interviews, questionnaires. Interviews का ये मतलब है कि that you will go to people and you will ask them about the particular issue. ठीक है. और फिर उनसे चीजें लेके उनकी बातें रिकॉर्ड करके लिख के और उसका डेटा बना के then you can investigate that. आप कह सकते हैं कि इतने लोगों ने ये जवाब दिए तो इसका मतलब ये है कि मेजर issue ये है. ठीक है. So you can go for the interviews, you can go for the questionnaires. You might have seen people make questionnaires और वो फिर आपसे क्वेश्चनर आपको दे देते हैं, यू आंसर द क्वेश्चंस और फिर वो जाके वो डेटा ले लेते हैं. ठीक है. समटाइम यू डू द लैब वर्क और फिर आप टेस्ट करते हैं. आप जैसे केमिस्ट्री में इस तरह टेस्ट होते हैं, जैसे केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में पता नहीं किस तरह के टेस्ट होंगे, जैसे मशीनरी में, जैसे कोई भी चीज हो, आप लोग को ज्यादा पता होगा. ठीक है. सो यू इंक्लूड दैट डिजाइन कि आप how will you go with the procedure to investigate that problem, or what will be the procedure to investigate it, to go with the research. ठीक है, so this section details how will you go about answering your research questions. ठीक है, now references क्या है, timeline का तो मैंने कह दिया कि timeline is like this section details what activities or tasks will be undertaken in your research and when. It's basically you are giving the time that उसमें आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि how much time will you write, will you give to the introduction, how much time will you the methodology, writing the methodology or the literature review or things like that. And then the references. References are basically when you introduce your topic, it is obvious that you will be having definitions and explanation for some terms. ठीक है, तो वो जो definition है या explanation है, जाहिर बात है वो आप खुद से नहीं कर सकते. You will be taking help from Wikipedia, Google sites, books, magazines, or maybe any news channels. ठीक है, आप वहां से भी ले सकते हैं.
मैम आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं है.
Hello.
Your voice is not clear.
ठीक है, अभी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes ma'am.
ठीक है, so what you do in the references
मैडम वॉइस
के
तो आ रही
आप
लेकिन क्लियर नहीं है.
अब नहीं है क्लियर, आपके साथ कोई मसला होगा, मेरा तो नेट ठीक है.
मैम
आप
क्लियर है,
क्लियर है?
मुझे तो आ रही है मैम.
हाँ, बस फिर इनके साथ कोई मसला होगा. References are, this is a list of references cited in the proposal for further guidance about referencing and avoiding plagiarism. Plagiarism is stealing the documents. हर एक चीज की stealing होती है, चोरी होती है. जैसे आप किसी और का introduction उठा के you make you copy it and paste it in your proposal. So there is a test for it. It is put in a system. ठीक है, और उस सिस्टम में पता चल जाता है कि it is copied and pasted from a particular site. उस पे पता चल जाता है. ठीक है, so that is basically plagiarism test. कि आपने चोरी तो नहीं की है, you have like it's stealing of documents for, it's like when you copy and paste it on in your own name, on your own name. So references are given basically when you introduce things or terms or explain them or define them, or even in the literature review you go for the other works or the previous works. So you cannot put these works on your own name. You have to refer them back to those people who are the authors, who are the writers. ठीक है, तो लिटरेचर रिव्यू में या फिर इंट्रोडक्शन में अगर आप किसी चीज को इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, डिफाइन कर रहे हैं, you might have taken the introduction from a site, from Google site, from Wikipedia, from a book, from a journal. So then you have to refer back to the journal, the book from which you from the source that you have taken that introduction, that definition, that explanation, that review of the journal. ठीक है, तो वो जो रेफरेंस है वो एक दो तरीके होते हैं इसके लिए. The one is that when you include in text citation, के टेक्स्ट के अंदर आप कहते हैं कि it was according to this person who has written this definition in this time, this 2005 में, 2010 में, 2000 में, इस तरह लिखा हुआ था. ठीक है, एंड देन फॉर उसमें तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि इस बुक में अकॉर्डिंग, आप कहते कि अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस ऑथर दिस आइडिया इज डिफाइंड बाय एज इट इज. ठीक है, देन at the end you give the reference of the book जिससे आपने ये definition दिया हुआ है. I'm going to explain it for you. और जो जैसे मेरे पास ये sample है. Now you see आप यहाँ से इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ सकते हैं कि इंट्रोडक्शन में हम क्या इंक्लूड करते हैं, व्हाट, व्हाई एंड आउटकम्स, रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस कैसे बना सकते हैं, फॉर्मेट, हाइपोथेसिस और प्रोपोजिशन, और लिटरेचर रिव्यू कैसे, रिसर्च डिजाइन क्या कहते हैं. बट आई वांट टू डिस्कस ग्रामर. उसके बाद आई विल गो टू द रेफरेंसेस के रेफरेंसेस क्या है. बट फॉर रेफरेंसेस आई विल हैव अनदर लेक्चर. ठीक है, क्योंकि रेफरेंसेस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आप लोगों के लिए. एंड आई विल बी टीचिंग APA स्टाइल, अमेरिकन साइकोलॉजिकल एसोसिएशन. ठीक है, it is used in empirical sciences. When we have empirical sciences जैसे medical है, engineering है, और इस तरह जहाँ पे we have experiments and test, इस तरह की जो fields है, ठीक है, they are empirical sciences. तो उनमें ज्यादातर APA स्टाइल होता है. There is another style Chicago and there is another yet another one that is MLA. ठीक है, लेकिन we are only limited to we can say discuss APA style. अगर आपको APA आता है तो फिर वो दोनों इतने ज्यादा मुश्किल नहीं है. ठीक है, verb tense आपका जो ग्रामर है, how like if it is an introduction, what would be your tense? If it is methodology, what tense should be used in the proposal writing? If it is conclusion, तो उसमें कैसे आप कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, so you see the simple present tense should be used when talking about an idea or a theory that is constant. जैसे अगर आप किसी भी कांस्टेंट और फैक्ट्स और फिगर्स की बात कर रहे हैं, दे आर ऑलवेज कांस्टेंट. ठीक है, जैसे हम कहते हैं कि द सन राइजेस इन द ईस्ट. ठीक है, सो राइजेस इज बेसिकली द सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस. तो हमेशा when there are facts, realities and things like that, so everything that you include in your proposal, जैसे आप simulation की बात करते हैं, simulation techniques are the main, are, see, it is simple present tense, are the main non-invasive method used to determine. ठीक है, now this is just an example of a sentence that if you are including such facts and constant theories, you have to write it in simple present tense. Even if it is in introduction, literature review में है या किसी भी part of the proposal है, you have to write it in simple present tense. Simple past tense to describe actions or events in the past that are completed. In a previous study, जैसे एक example है, past tense आप literature review में ज़्यादा discuss कर सकते हैं कि आप when you describe the actions or events in the past that are completed. So in the literature review, as I said, कि you will be including the previous works related to your topic. तो आप कहते हैं कि in a previous study, Smith, which is carried out by Smith in 2005, implemented कि ये चीज़ है. Implemented का क्या है? It is simple past tense. ठीक है, आप कह सकते हैं कि in a study or according to Smith 2005 simulation techniques were, आप ये भी कह सकते हैं, were the main invasive method. तो आप, this is basically the simple past tense that you use for writing the literature review. क्योंकि literature review में you discuss about the previous things, so that's why it's simple past आप use करेंगे. Present perfect tense आप कहाँ पे use कर सकते हैं? To describe actions or events in the past that are connected to the present. To date, various methods have been developed and introduced to my year X. ठीक है, so simple present perfect tense जो है ये हम when we start the literature review, तो फिर आपकी अपनी बात होती है. जाहिर बात है, you cannot start directly from the previous works. You will be having making a background. ठीक है, तो आप कह सकते हैं कि जैसे various in the literature review, the researcher have included or various works have been included in the literature review. So you see, it is past tense, perfect tense, present perfect tense आप use कर रहे हैं, because you are making a connection. You are talking about in the present, but you are referring back to something which was in the past. ठीक है, तो to date, various methods have been developed and introduced to Meyer X. So this is basically you are talking about your project, but you have taken works or you are talking about the works of somebody else. ठीक है, so in the like in the start of the literature review, when you make a background for the literature review कि आपने कौन-कौन से चीजें उसमें include किए हैं, or there you use present perfect tense. In the passive voice कभी-कभी हम use करते हैं, कभी नहीं, but it's important in methodology. ठीक है, passive voice आप use कर सकते हैं, but it is in future. ठीक है, to give a more objective, authoritative tone to your writing, focus on the action rather than the person doing the action. So if you say that I will be doing this thing or I will be using this instruments, it's okay, you can use that. But if you are do not mention your own self, या फिर आप कहते कि researcher को आप mention ना करें, rather focus on the action that you have done, ठीक है, और you will be doing, तो वो ज्यादा authoritative होगा, वो ज्यादा objective होगा, ठीक है. So in the methodology what you will be saying that data selection will be based on input parameter. This is just an example. आप कह सकते हैं कि the this particular instrument will be used in this research or this study, ठीक है. तो you see it is a future tense because you haven't done the research yet and you are going to investigate it. तो आपका जो methodology है वो future tense में होगा, but if you are using some passive voice it is more authoritative, a tone that you can give or you can create, ठीक है. So this was an the document. मुझे लगता है इतना इतनी बात आप लोग को समझ आ गई होगी. अब इसमें एग्जांपल्स है और इसके सामने कमेंट्स भी है कि इफ इन लिटरेचर रिव्यू, ये एक एग्जांपल है लिटरेचर रिव्यू का. अब ये देखिए मैंने आपको रेफरेंस की बात की ना, यूनाइटेड स्टेट फायर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन 2002, ठीक है. नाउ अब ये जो रेफरेंस है इसमें ये बात हुई है. According to one study, in nearly two-thirds of the vehicle fire deaths, the swift advance of fire and the ensuing incapacitation of the passengers were contributing factors. United States Fire Administration 2002. Okay, so this is basically a chunk given from this article, okay, or this we can say stuff, yeah, this writing piece of writing से लिया हुआ है, ठीक है. तो इसमें simple present का use हुआ है, past simple past का use हुआ है और passive voice का भी use हुआ है. So it's not necessary that if you are having literature review it will always be in the simple past. There can be something your own comment, so you can writing your own comment in the simple present or you can go for the passive voice as well, ठीक है. So depending on the idea, these are the examples, you can read it from there. लेकिन यहाँ से आप पढ़ सकते हैं, but I want to give an example, another example to you. Sorry. के रिसर्च प्रपोजल के एग्जाम्पल्स हैं. सैंपल है, ठीक है. दिस इज अ सैंपल रिसर्च प्रपोजल विद कमेंट्स. इसका टॉपिक क्या है? अ कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क फॉर स्केड्यूलिंग कंस्ट्रेंट मैनेजमेंट. दिस इज द टॉपिक, ठीक है. अब इसका इंट्रोडक्शन इसने कैसे लिखा हुआ है, प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है, देख ले, और ये ऑब्जेक्टिव है और लिटरेचर रिव्यू है, मेथोडोलॉजी है and then the references है. Now see, references are these things. Now Ballard G 2000 last planner system of the production control. अब ये इसका PhD डिसर्टेशन है, ये इसका मुझे लगता है इसने किसी जर्नल में अपना पेपर वो किया हुआ है. डिसर्टेशन इज बेसिकली द प्रोजेक्ट और उसका जो रिपोर्ट होता है, ठीक है. सो किसी यूनिवर्सिटी के जर्नल में उसने अपना पेपर पब्लिश किया हुआ है, विच वाज इन 2000 उसने लिखा हुआ है. एंड बैलर्ड जी, अब ये जी इसका फर्स्ट नेम होगा लेकिन इसने सिर्फ जी लगाया हुआ है, बैलर्ड इज द सेकंड नेम. नाउ यू सी दिस रेफरेंस इज लाइक it is basically the explanation for the in-text citation that we give in a part of the research. अब ये यहाँ पे देखेंगे हम कि ये कहाँ पे था. Are you with me? आप लोग मुझे सुन रहे हैं ना? ठीक है. ये देखे this look ahead scheduling and constraint analysis procedure is also a critical component of the last planner methodology proposed by Ballard 2000. Now this is in-text citation. आप ये बात करते हैं लेकिन ये किसी और ने की है, and you are including this text into your paper, right? Just to make a background or to explain the thing in a better way, ठीक है. तो Ballard ने 2000 में ये बात की है, लेकिन अब यहाँ पे you do not know whether it is a book, whether it is a dissertation, whether it is an article or a journal or anything, right? Over here it's just the name of the person and the date of the thing, ठीक है. तो the date of the book या जो भी है, लेकिन आपको ये नहीं पता कि ये book है, ये journal है, ये dissertation है, ये क्या है, कहाँ पे हुआ था, what was the name particular name of the person, or what was the particular title of the book or the journal. So you see, this is the name of the writer, और ये the date जिस टाइम वो publish हुआ था, और the last planner system of the production control is the name of the dissertation. ठीक है, अब ये PhD डिसर्टेशन है और इस यूनिवर्सिटी से इसने किया हुआ है. So this is the reference that you give at the last. ठीक है, it is like at the end of your proposal, when you give references, it means that you are giving explanation for the in-text citation that you give in any part of your proposal. अब जरूरी नहीं है कि इट्स ऑलवेज इन इंट्रोडक्शन. अब ये देखिए, ये प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट में भी इसने एक यहाँ से लिया हुआ है, दाऊ 2002. अब एंड अब इसको देखें, ये यहाँ पे आई विल, ये देखें, it was like it is the second name, it is the first name, or it is the second name, or this is the second name or first name से उन लोगों ने सिर्फ first letter लिया हुआ है. 2001 constraint modeling and buffer management with integrated production. So you see it in the references that is given at the end of the dissertation, at the end of the your proposal, sorry, it is basically giving an information about the book, about the journal from which you have taken the chunk and which you have included in your proposal, for explaining a term, for defining a term, for including a paper, right? So ye references hai. We will have a detailed lecture on referencing, or it will be APA style. के APA style में हम इसको कैसे लगाते हैं, जैसे अगर एनटेक्स साइटेशन है, सी इधर अगर इसके अंदर कोई साइटेशन हम करते हैं, उसको कैसे करेंगे. We will include only the name of the person and the date of the particular we can say project. जैसे कोई बुक है या फिर कोई जर्नल है या आर्टिकल है, so we will include that. But at the end जब हम रेफरेंस देते हैं तो उसमें पूरा ये कहानी है. And I will make you see के how can we make these things in MS Office. MS Office में भी इसका ऑप्शन है कि हम इसको कैसे लगा सकते हैं. There is a particular app as well, ऐप भी इसके लिए है, जैसे आप उसमें ये सारा इंफॉर्मेशन डाल के वहां से खुद ही आप रेफरेंस क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. एंड यू कैन मैनुअली एड इट एज वेल, आप इसको मैनुअली भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, नाउ दिस इज एन एग्जांपल, इट्स अप टू यू नाउ कि आप इसको कैसे कर सकते हैं. एंड देयर आर कमेंट्स ऑन द राइट साइड, और ये राइट साइड पे ये सारे कमेंट्स पढ़ ले. And I'll be giving you an assignment, or please focus on this कि आप इसको कैसे proposal बना सकते हैं. ठीक है, I hope this is clear for today.
Yes ma'am.
Is it okay, काजी?
Yes ma'am, बस एक क्वेश्चन पूछना था, ये जो बिजनेस प्रपोजल्स होते हैं ये हम स्पॉन्सरशिप्स के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं?
जाहिर ही बात है, वो तो ये सारा रिक्वेस्ट का मतलब ये है, प्रपोजल का मतलब ये है कि टू स्पॉन्सर यू, और ये हमेशा ग्रांट्स होते हैं, हमेशा.
ओके.
अब कोई और बात है? मुस्तफा, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. अब खुश?
मैडम वो कहना चाहते हैं कि क्लास जो स्टडी की क्लास शुरू होने वाली है, उसने मैसेज कर दिया मुझे.
किसने?
मुस्तफा ने.
मुस्तफा कौन है? मुस्तफा, आपकी मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही. आपका ऐसा है जैसे रेडियो की आवाज है.
मुस्तफा व्हाट्सएप पर मैसेज करो, व्हाट्सएप पर मैं मैम को बता दूंगा.
ये जो आप यहाँ पे कमेंट्स करते हैं ना, इसकी हमें कॉपी मिलती है. बी केयरफुल. ठीक है, आप मेरी क्लास में इस तरह मतलब आप चैट ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन बाकी टीचर्स के साथ अगर आप इस तरह चैट कर सकते हैं, वी गेट अ कॉपी फॉर इट. अब हम रिकॉर्डिंग में बंद करूंगी यहाँ से, तो मुझे एक इसकी भी कॉपी मिल जाएगी. और वहां पे नेम्स भी आते हैं कि किसने क्या कमेंट किया हुआ था. सो स्टॉप कमेंट